So I'm just spinning up another machine. So probably I'll pick up the Red Hat, this one, Amazon Linux.
Excuse me, Lokesh.
Yeah, Prakash.
Yeah, Sangam just texted me. He's saying like he's not feeling well yet. So
Okay, okay. Okay, so now we have three machines. So one is master agent, which we know already. I just spun up this one. So this is, we are going to use it for the CD purpose. So we are going to deploy our code into this machine. Okay. So now we know that our source code is here, right? SUV official Javan Maven sample. So we have the master branch and everything. So now this is our Jenkins files. We already have our this thing yesterday that we were working on this. Our Jenkins file. So now let's go ahead and add the post task and some more options to the same Jenkins file. Okay, so let me first add the parameter section. What is the parameters and why do we use those parameters? Okay, so same thing. I'll open up the Jenkins. Too much of pride. Okay, so Maven jobs sample Maven. So I go to the pipeline here. So since we are working on the declarative, I'll pick up this one. And then we have here matrix, the latest one, the not parameter. Let's talk about the options. So what are the options we have here? So authorized matrix build discarder is there. So I wanted to do the build discard for last 5 days and last 5 builds. So this is the build discarder option I have added. And let's see one more. What do we have? Authorized build discarder checkout. Yeah. So this thing, I'm going to add this section as well to our Jenkins file. So what it is going to do, so it will just perform the build discarder. It is going to perform the delete the build history and keeps last 5 days and only 5 numbers. So this is compulsory that I would recommend that you always mention this without forget, because sometimes what happens, so if you continuously uh, running the build, so you may see some thousands of build history unnecessarily, you never use those. So if you keep it that, then it will increase load on the master because it has to keep the log file, right? And also it will impact the Jenkins performance as well. So that's why you always mention this option. So there is one more plugin available. So the plugin name is going to be this thing, manage plugins available. Go to the timestamp. Install without restart. And let me also add this one. I remember, I just got it, remember, and I forgot. Will discard a timestamp. Input is there. Okay. So now I have added that one. So what it is going to do, it will print the timestamp. So if you look at this log files, right? So we don't have the timestamp. So when it is actually added, when it is completed, right? So we don't see exactly which stage started what time. So if you want to print the timestamps here, then we need to have this plugin and we need to add that as an option. So pipeline syntax, declarative options. Do we see time here? No, right? Yeah, timestamps. So it is going inside the options, right? So already I have an options, I think. So I have options. I just need to copy this guy. It is going to print the timestamps. And also I have this. This is very important one. The timeout. You see timeout? Enforce time limit. So timeout in which I just wanted to give the timeout for uh, maybe 30, maybe 10 minutes. So my job is going to run only for 10 minutes, not more than that. So timeout. So what this timeout is going to do? This timeout will help to keep your builds safe. Sometimes what happens? So now whenever we commit, we are running the jobs, right? So in case if the job got stuck for some reason, and if you don't look at it, the job will run forever unless someone takes some action on it, right? So if you mention the timeout says, so technically our job will not run more than 10 minutes at any cost. If it is running more than 10 minutes, it means something is wrong. So in that case, I am going to configure timeout here. Timeout means the entire build will should complete within 10 minutes. If it is not, then the job will automatically be killed. That is what the timeout is. This is also important that we need to mention. This will make sure that our builds are always healthy. Okay. So based on your build time, you need to choose 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 1 hour, whatever it is. So some jobs are there when you run the integration tests, when you run some type of UI test, it is expected to take a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, maybe 5 hours. So based on that, you need to add the timeout options here. Okay. So now we have added the timestamps, which is going to print the times for us. Timeout, this will ensure that our build will only run within 10 minutes, not more than that. If it is, it will be killed and the build is caught. So we have added these three options now in our Jenkins file, right? So now let me add this to the stage, then commit updated Jenkins file. We can now we can push it. The job will not run now. Can one tell me why? So yesterday, whenever we made a push, right? So the job started running here, but it is not now. Can someone tell me why?
That is not automate.
No, it is. I did not make any changes to this. So it's not getting triggered. The hook is also there, but it is alert. Remember, whenever we restart a machine, your DNS name changes of the VM, right? That is the reason. So now, yesterday it was this one, but today it is 11412. But we have 1219, which is the wrong one. this is my Jenkins URL. So you may have to remember this one. So when you're working on, you may so GitHub. So now I've added this. Let me redeliver. See, it went. Okay, now my job is running. Started running. This will fail now because I haven't. I deleted the key that I used. So let me generate the key. Settings, developer settings, personal access token. I'll just pass it a little bit. So I just updated the latest personal access token in my credentials. Now let me run this job. Oops. Wait, startup timestamps failed.
So for every build, we should provide the key.
Not every build. So you just provide only one time. So because I'm recording this, right? So I did not hide my personal access token. If someone sees in the YouTube, then they can hack my GitHub, right? That's why I'm deleting those. That is the best way. So if you are using yourself, then you don't need to. Because I'm using this for myself, right? I mean, this also video available for everyone. That is the reason I'm deleting that. Why timestamp is not working here? Yeah, I don't know why timestamp is not working. I'll remove that part. I'll remove this one. Commit. Yes. Then push. The job started running. Come on. Okay. The job is running. So now we have this build history, right? So this will be deleted because we have added that option, right? After completion of the job. So everything will be deleted except last 5 builds. So after completion of those, this will happen. So tests are running. So let's monitor that one as well. And then we can add the post tasks. Yeah, so this is done because we added the last 5 builds only to our Jenkins file. So now let's talk about the post tasks. So what are the post tasks and why do we use that? So here, this is not the actual the post task. I'm deleting this one. Sorry, my bad, sorry. So here we have stages, right? So after performing stages, so there is a one more section called post. So we can add that post as well here. So now I'm adding a post task here. So inside the stages, okay, inside the stages, I'm adding the post tasks. So what are the post tasks we have? So post task means after completion of all these stages, this will be executed as a last part. Okay, so what it has the options. So it has options always. So always means so whether your build success or failure or unstable or someone killed. So this will be executed always. And then second time failure. If your build is failed, then this block will be executed along with always. And then if it is success, then this block will be executed. So usually we put if conditions, right? So if the job is this, do this. If the job is this, do this. Similarly, we have post task here. So always mean default this will be executed. So what you can write here is, so you can perform this thing. Delete directory. This is mandatory. So what this is going to do? The delete directory is going to delete the workspace. The reason behind is, so if I run a job, this will actually creates a workspace that is called a folder. So you want to see that? Let me show you. It is running on agent 1, right? At this location. So let me log in. Yeah, already I've logged in. So I go here. See, I see the data. See all the data, Jenkins file, readme, our Jenkins, our source code, everything. Okay, even we have the target. This is the target. So if I go to the target, you see this, my app, this is the jar file that is being built after we run the job. Okay, so if I don't perform the delete directory, then the source code try to check in into the same folder and try to generate the same data. That is actually a conflict. Sometimes your latest changes will not be picked up, or sometimes your git checkout may throw error saying that it has a corrupted git repository. Okay, so that's why we always need to delete that. Always delete it. So after completion of the job, delete the workspace because we don't need that actually. That is the thing. So failure. So if it is fail, drop me an email to this guy. So we generally use the mail function here, mail command. So let me see if I have mail installed here. Mail command not found, smail, mailx, but yeah, it's not installed here. Let me see if it is available in Red Hat at all. Yeah, we have to again use a CS service. That's fine. So if we have the mail client installed and we have SMTP server configured, then we can use this machine to drop an email to us. So since we don't have that, let's assume, so we are adding the mail tasks here. Okay, so they say like this, echo the job mail, send mail minus a subject. What is the subject? So here, yeah, I'll use something. Okay, having job minus, and then you can say failed, right? Like this. So you are going to give the target details. Recipient set mycompany.com. So success, you don't need to do that, just say success. The job is successful, like this. So you may perform different actions. So let's suppose in your company, you may say whenever job fails, send me a message. Send me a message to a Slack. Send me a message to Microsoft Office. Then we can configure that part here as well. We just need to install the corresponding plugin, and then we need to read the documentation how to use that, and then configure it. It's very easy, not big difficult. Okay, so now we have added the post tasks, and then let's run it. So added the post tasks, and then push it. Oh, why it is failing? Let me just check. I think this thing needs to be added here. So I'm just putting the post equal to the agent tools option stages section. I've put inside the stages. Now let's check the placement of this. Yeah, it's going. So actually I had this post inside the stages. So it has to go in the level of where we have all these like agent, tools, options, stages, and the post. I put the post inside the stages. That's why it was failing. Okay. So this is what it is. So we can actually run each and every stage on a different environment and different agent as well. We will see that in deep. So job is success. Okay. So now let's see what it have done as a post task. So if I go here, we are printing as a post section successful because it is completed. So we are also performing delete directory. So it means deleting the directory. Clear? This is what we are doing as part of the post. So now if I go here in this box, see it says cannot space workspace. See, I have sample Maven. See, you don't see any data here. It's deleted because we perform delete directory. So next time when you run the job, it's again a fresh start so that you don't have any kind of conflicts. So that's what the delete directory. So now let's work on the CD part. So we have been seeing the CI, right? So CI is fine. So now let's do the CD part. So how we need to deploy the CD part to a VM first. Okay, let's talk about a VM. So I want to deploy my change to a machine. Okay, so that machine is going to be this machine. Okay, this is my Jenkins master, this is my agent, and this is my machine development box, let's say. Okay, I'm running my job here into this. Yeah, I'm running my job into this. So now let me deploy. So for that, what I need to do, I need to get the IP address of that. So I'm going to use the IP of this guy. So since first we need to exchange the keys, I'm going to create one random key and then use that key. Okay, so first what we need to do, copy this box and open up with the new session. Then open the white one. Okay, so this is our target box. Okay, ssh ec2 user. So IP is different, 155. So now what I need to do, I need to generate one key. So you can generate the key from anywhere. Okay, so I'm using my Linux machine, ssh keygen -t rsa. So I want to generate into here with a different. So I would say random. I got the keys ready here, right? So now I go to the Jenkins. This is the Jenkins. I need to install one plugin that supports me the SSH login automatically. So now I am going to the manage Jenkins and the manage plugins. So you see go to available SSH agent. What? See, SSH agent, this plugin allows you to provide SSH credentials to build via SSH agent in Jenkins. So this looks a little bit similar to what I'm looking for. It is installing. So the plugin is installed. One thing is done. So now I go here, Maven. So this job, I'm going to use it, right? So I'm going to credentials on this folder level. So you can create credential at the global level or inside the folder level as well. So if you create the credentials inside this folder, the scope of that credentials will only be applicable to the jobs in this folder only. So if you go one up, then you cannot access the same credentials in the pipeline folder because the scope is limited to only this folder. So that's why if you have your project folder, make sure that you try to create the credentials specific to your folder only so that the other projects will not use. When you join the company, project A, project B, project C, you are in project A. So you don't want your credentials to be accessible by other projects, right? That's why you always create inside the folder. Okay, so I create the folder here. So I already have folder. I go click on this domains, add credentials. So here you see SSH username with private key. This is what I am going to choose now because I have been using this, right, username and password, but here I am using now private key. I choose this guy. ID, you can give any ID. So since I'm using CD here, I say CD here. Okay, so Maven CD key. Description, I'm going to put the same username. So I'm going to give it to EC2 user. Private key, I'm going to enter it directly here. Okay. So now I go here, the random key that I generated. This is my private key. I'm going to copy this and then share it here. Passphrase I did not use, save. So now my private key is saved here. Remember, we need to give a private key to Jenkins. Okay, so now Jenkins has a private key. Now we need to copy the public key into the target machine. Okay, so in case in your company, if you are working, so if someone wanted to do the automation and you are maintaining the Jenkins job, so what you need to do is, so you need to generate a key and create a credentials with the private key and then inform the target team to copy the public key in their user's profile, whichever user they are going to use for deployments. So if they use EC2 user, they have to copy inside the EC2 user. If they say they are using a different deploy user, they have to copy it in the deploy user. In our use case, we are using EC2 user. So I log into the target box since I have access to, because in general you don't have access in the company. So I go to the .ssh folder. I have authorized keys here. I'm going to add that guy here. So this is my cat random.pub. This is my public key. So if you don't copy the public key, what happens? You cannot make a successful authentication, right? Because it's a unique combination of private and public key. Done. So now we have copied the public key onto my CD machine. Now we are good. Now let's go ahead and write the tasks. Okay. Now what we need to write the tasks here. So I go to the simple Maven here. I have a Jenkins file here. So now after the test, I want to deploy. Okay, so here is my deploy. I'm going to write stage. Okay, deploy. One more stage I'm writing here. Okay, so what is the first stage? I want to perform the deployments, right? So I'm going to say something deploying the machine, deploying to dev environment. Let's say I just printed a sample message. So now I need to take help of SSH agent here. Okay, so now I go to the pipeline syntax. there is a SSH agent. You see SSH agent now available because we have installed this plugin. I go here. So which key I wanted to use? So I wanted to use the Maven CD key. This is the key we are going to use for deployment, right? Not this key. So I use this key and then generate pipeline. This is the syntax of using. Okay. So now I copy this. Okay. And I'm going to put it here. SSH agent, Maven CD key. Now I need to write my steps here. Okay. So what are those steps? I need to put the shell block, right? So now what deployment means? So deployment means copying your file from one server to another server. That is what deployment means. Okay. So now how do we copy the file from one server to another server? What is the command? Forgot? SCP. SCP is a command that we use to copy the file from one server to another server, right? Now we need to provide the source server. Where is the source? So whenever we do the build part, the artifact will be generated inside the target directory in the agent machine. So since we are using single agent here, this will be in this box itself. So it will be inside the target slash what is the file name that we need to deploy. So we need to log into the agent and see the target name, or else we can also get the same information from the POM itself here. If I go to the POM, I have this name. So my app, this one, this is going to be the name. Okay, so the file name is going to be so my app hyphen this dot jar extension. So my app hyphen this and hyphen this. Okay, so now we have given the target name. This is the where my source file is available. Now what is the target information? So now I need to provide the target information here. So what is the target server name? So now I need to go back to the EC2, get the target server IP address. This is the private IP address. At. So where you want to copy that file. So maybe I'll pick up the /opt. /opt may not have privileges. So what I'm going to do, I'll copy it inside the home directory itself, /home EC2 user. Let's say we're deploying into the home directory. That's it. This is the command scp. We know we need to put targets the source of the file where it is and then target. So this server at this location, right? This is right. Okay, so looks like you guys forgot. So we need to queue the user, right? EC2 user at this location, this server at this location. This is the syntax. So we have scp target myapp.zar EC2 user at this server colon at this location. This is the syntax that we need to give for the target users. Okay, so now we have got the scp. So if I run this, it will fail. So let's see why it fails, because technically the command is right. So whatever command we are giving here, scp, the source location, the target server, this is right, technically right, there is no issue. Okay, and now what happens? So whenever you run this command, so scp EC2 user. So EC2 user means it needs a password or a key, right, to log into the box. So you have two options. Either you can use the password, one you can use server key. So now we are using key here. How we are using key? We are using SSH agent. So SSH agent block What it does is, whenever it sees that somebody is doing the SCP command or SSH command, this will pass the private key to this command. So remember, whenever we try to access, we do SSH -I, right? And then we provide the key file. What does it mean? So whenever you try to access the target server, use this key. The same way SSH agent doing here. What it is saying, if you're trying to connect this server, you use SCP command, take this private key when you are going with -I parameter. It is going to append that one. It is going to append that -I parameter to this command. That's what it's doing. Okay, so if you had practiced the SFP SSH, you would easily understand this. Okay, so now we have got the deploy step is ready. Now let's run it and see how does it work. Okay, so I think it fails, but let's see. Let's see the error first and then let's fix it. So now I am going to push this, added the CD part, and then push, go to the job, but it did not push the changes. Still going. Ah, I always forget this. So stage will have the steps, right? So we have a steps, which I forgot again. So stage, you have to put everything into the steps, right? So I forgot that one. So I added the steps. So let me stage and commit. Push. So remember when you also trying to practice, so try to get the errors and then see the error why it is coming, Google it, and then compare with the Jenkins file and then fix it. This is the way how you can remember more. Okay, so don't just try to copy whatever I have and try to run it and make it successful. That's actually bad practice. You try to type yourself, let the issue occur, you fix it, then you realize, okay, this is what I have done the mistake, and you remember it for longer time. Okay, so now I have this here.
Usually, Lokesh, we are getting a lot of errors, but we couldn't find how to fix that.
Google.
That's a
Google will have all the errors. So if not, we can anyway ping in our WhatsApp group, right? So I'll respond whenever I find time.
Yeah, I just saw one error you got, right? Groovy file something. I got that one. I just checked
Yeah.
out how you did
Okay, cool. So now see, it failed. So in the failed section, I got this error message because it's failed, right? So why it is failed? So how do we know where it is failed? So this deploy part has been failed. So if you can click these logs, it can only show you the logs of that particular stage only. Okay, so what it is doing, come on, I am deploying environment, the shell script is failing. It says host key verification is failed. So this is expected. So why host key verification is failed? The host key verification is, so whenever we try to perform SSH or SCP, remember you get some prompt, say yes or no, right? We always say yes. So that is called the host key verification. So what does host key verification is? So it is going to perform another validation that the target that you're trying is running on the right host. That's for the host key verification. Okay, so now we don't know the host key verification, right? So we can skip it. So how do we skip it? So we have an option for the SCP where we can do the host key verification skip. Okay, so man command SCP I think strict. No, minus O, I think. I think it's minus O, strict host key verification. No, this is what we do. SSH. So, okay, rather than I'm answering you, let's check what the error is and try to figure out how to tackle that error. So the error says that host key verification failed. So now what we need to do? So we need to copy this error message as it is and paste it. So what we are doing, Jenkins, we are deploying that SCP deploy fails error message. Now let's see what Google says. Okay, now we got some error. You see Stack Overflow. This is the website where you will find almost all the answers. Okay, trust this guy if you see the first line. So now it says error. So they are saying this is what we are doing, right? SCP, my file, Ubuntu, my address, and the location. That is perfect. And they are getting the same error. Then how did they resolve it? So if I go here, they say minus O, strict host key checking. No, I got it working. I needed to do two things. I had to use this. Are we using this? No, right? So now I need to use this guy. Minus O, strict host key checking is no. That's fine. I'm going to add that to my command as well. Okay, now I commit this, added strict host key checking as no. Commit is done. Now push it. This is how I actually handle the issues. So now I go back here, 25. While the job is running. So let's look what do we have in the target. So I go to the here machine. So I don't have that jar file here, right? Because I'm trying to copy at this location. I don't have it here. So after completion of job, you will see the jar file. So it is running. So it says success. So now it copied our file. So SCP minus O, no, this is the file copied at this location. This is done, success. So job is successful. So it means our deploy part is completed, CD part is. Now let's go ahead and verify in this server. There you go. We got our jar file. So let's run. Do we have a Java in this box? No. Sudo yum install Java -1. Jar file can be executed by using the Java command. So let's see. Okay. So now Java -jar my app. See, this is the output. This is what we source coded, right? We wanted to print this whenever the jar is run. Hello jar, hello SCP. So our build is successful, test is successful, and we also published our JUnit results. Now we also deployed to CD. Clear?
Excuse me, Chris.
Mhm.
Can we run like interactive application like this?
Now
No.
we cannot run the interactive Jenkins because we use the tools to automate everything so that you don't have human interaction. Okay, so now we got our deployment ready. CD part is done. So technically, let's make our improvement to our file. Okay, so now I'm using the EC2 server here, right? EC2 server here and the server here. There is some possibility that in case if you want to deploy to another server, you have to come and edit here, right? So rather than doing it here, so we actually need to take a block called environment, and then we need to put all the variables over there. Okay, so now I am going to add tools here. I'm going to add one more section called environment. It's actually a small e. So here I'm going to mention. So what I'm going to say, target user is equal to which user I'm going to use, EC2 user, and then target server is going to be the server which I am going to use. Okay, so now this is the environment, means it's just like a variable. This is the variable I'm using, this value, this variable, this value. So now I wanted to use this variable here. So this is now the EC2 user. This is going to be dollar target underscore user. You know, right? Dollar is a symbol which we use to get the value of the variable, and the server here. So this is replaced by a variable called target underscore server. So now we don't need to do anything here. So if you want to deploy to some other server, we just edit this section, because editing this section is much safer than this. Because if you do small mistake by accident delete the @ symbol, or delete by accidentally this colon symbol, it's impacts, right? So usually that's why we externalize those specific values to the environment block. Okay, that's what we use the environment. We also mention the credentials here as well. Okay, so now whenever I want to deploy a new server, I command here, I edit this value, that's it. So that very less risk where I can edit the data. Right, so this is good. So now we have made the changes. We
So
get, yeah,
we will stop the instances when we done the work in companies also.
right. So this is like a typical deployment, right? So if we talk about a huge deployments where we are actually building a source code and we need to stop the Tomcat server and then deploy the package and then start it, then what we need to do, either we need to write multiple steps here, multiple steps like this. So now this is that first we need to stop the server, right? The SSH block. So first you need to log into the server. So SSH, same, you would carry this, because if you don't carry then it will fail. And then target server, dollar target user at dollar target server colon, or you just give the space and then you give the command here. What's the command you need to run? Systemctl stop Tomcat.
So every time if we stop and run the instance, we'll get different public keys, right?
Mhm.
So we should provide that key again in
No,
this.
we just have only, so if you have one server, right? So this server I'm using three steps. So the same key works, right? If you have another server, yes, you have to use different SSH key. You need to write one more SSH agent block for that.
Okay, for only what will say. Suppose Maven is there and some agent is there
Mhm.
for Maven only one we can use public key, right?
Not the Maven. It is like I've just given the name as a Maven here. So the concept of the SSH key deployment is completely different. So this is how it works. Okay, so now this is your, sorry. So this is your Jenkins master. Okay, and this is your agent. Okay, so whenever master instructs agents to do the build, your build is run. So this location, the whichever jar file you have built, is available here. target slash my app jar. This is the location it is currently available now. So now what we need to do, we need to deploy this guy, right? Deploy this guy to the server located here. This is my target one. Okay, so if I want to access this box, I have two ways. So one is user ID and the password, or user ID SSH key, right? So by default, we have been using SSH key. So what I have done here is I created a private key and then a public key somewhere. It's a key combination. Okay, then I have given this private key to the master as a credentials, and then public key I have copied it to this box. So it means whoever has this private key can now connect to target one, right? This is what SSH works. This is how we discussed in previous classes. Now we are adding a SCP command, SCP command -o strict host key checking no, and then we are using the source, and then we're giving the target. This is the typical SCP command. Target means this target IP address, right? So now SCP command, if you don't mention the key, it always try to use the password. It says enter the password, but this machine doesn't allow the password. Rather, we are using the keys, right? So that's why I need to provide -i parameter and the key name. To provide that -i and key parameter, Jenkins way of doing is ssh-agent. That is a plugin available, right? The similarly we have seen in the Git. If we want to do the clone the repository, we do git clone in our laptop, but Jenkins way of doing is different, right? The same way we need to use ssh-agent now. So whenever you mention ssh-agent and give the key name, so whatever key name I have copied here, I have given one name. I can give any name. So I can give project A dev, right? So here ssh-agent block, I'm using ssh-agent and use this key. Which key? Project dev key. So now this block, what it does is it is going to replace the command, whatever command we are executing here, right? So this command will now be replaced like this: scp -o blah blah -i, and then whatever key we have given here, project A dev, and then target here, whatever it is. So this command works, right, for us, for typical scp command. This is one task. Now I want to do another task, like start the service. Okay, to start the service, the simple command is systemctl start some service name. So if it is a remote server, we need to first log into the box. So how do we log in to the target box? We need to use a ssh command, and then we need to give the user at target server. This is how you log in. So again, SSH is a secure. It will ask you for the user ID password. So password we are not using, rather we are using key. So we need to give SSH -i and the key location, same user at target server. But -i parameter we cannot give interactively in the Jenkins. So that's why we are using ssh-agent plugin. So whenever I run this command within ssh-agent block, it is going to replace the command like this: -i, use whatever key you have given here. It will replace it here. And then you have a user, add password. That's it. Now this is able to let you log in. So after the login, you want to run the command, right? So that you will append the command at the bottom of this SSH command. So what it does, it will actually log in and then run this command. That is what the SSH command does. Now clear? No? Not it?
Little
No, this is
confused.
same thing, right? So first you guys need to practice SSH. So that's why I stressed a lot. So SSH, this is how it works. Okay. So now you have server A and server B, right? So if you want to talk from server A to server B, that is login. Talk means login. So you have two options. One is user ID or password. One is user ID or SSH key, right? We have discussed this. So user ID password is disabled in EC2 machines. We don't do that. We always use a user ID and SSH key. So how to do SSH key verifications? So first we need to run the command ssh keygen -t RSA. This will give me a private key and the public key. This is going to be a unique combination. I can create as many as I want. This is the combination 1. I can also create another private key, public key. This is combination 2. So by using combination 1 private key, I cannot unlock public key of combination 2 because they both doesn't work, right? So now what we need to do? So whichever source is trying, so we need to give the private key to this guy and copy public key in the user's authorized keys location. So now if you want to connect from A to B, the command is ssh -i and the private key location, user and the target server name. This is the command. This will let us log into the B box. Okay. If you want to just run a command remotely, then same ssh. First we need to log in -i private key user at target. Here give the space and run the command ls. So this ls command will now be executed on this box. That is what the ssh command does. If you don't mention the command, this will let you log into the box. If you mention the command, this will run it and come out. So now I can list the content in this target box. For the login, I need to use a key combination. Now clear? Now same thing, we can also do the SCP. If you want to copy file from server A to server B, I need to use SCP. I need to give where is the key so that I can take the key. So I took the key here. I go to this user at this target, and then I want to copy it somewhere. I want to copy it here. So then it will let you copy. The same thing. So we remember we discussed private public key is you lock a lock and then a key, right? So this is the private key and this is the public lock. So you need to give the lock to this guy and you give the key to this guy. So whenever SSH is used, he will carry this key and go to this guy and unlock it automatically. Then he is entered. Recollected? That's why we stretched on the SSH for 45 minutes, I think. This is very important because we would be using SSH keys a lot. We use the same thing in GitHub as well when we copied our SSH key into the GitHub session. So now you clear, right? Still not clear how the private key public key works.
Yeah, clear.
Yeah, clear.
So you guys have to practice. There is no other alternative. So if you want to, this is the compulsory. SSH keys are compulsory. Based on that, we do a lot. You need to understand the concept. How does it work actually? Okay, this is what I'm doing in the Jenkins. So I'm just copying because the way how I give to Jenkins is use this key, copy it as a credential. So whenever you run SSH or SCP command, it is going to add -i parameter and the key name here. That's it. So SSH will use this key, go to this user at this target and unlocks it. So once the unlock is successful, then it runs this command. Whereas this case, it copies the file, it carries the copy file, and then it uses this key, go to this guy, and then copy it here. Whatever file he is carrying, he'll copy it to this location. That is what the keys are.
Actually, my doubt is like you have given like 175 dot after the EC2 user at the rate.
Mhm.
You have given the this part 172.31 that. So in EC2, every time we'll stop the instance, and when we'll start the instance, that 172 will change, right?
No, yeah,
He's
this is
asking
actually the
about the distance.
private. I'm
Ah,
using the private IP address.
okay.
Private IP doesn't change. The public IP address changes. That's why I'm using the private IP address.
I have little doubt on that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
every time when we stop, when we start, it will change, right? So
No,
every
no,
time it will
no.
provide
So
like
here we have two
yeah,
addresses:
public.
public IP address, private IP address, right? So private IP address remain
I,
constant. It doesn't change.
I got little confusion there.
Yeah,
You
no,
use,
no,
I thought you use public, so
no, no, no. I use the 172 private, right? 8 is public.
yeah,
So
I got
this one changes. So this one changes, but not this
yeah,
one.
I got it. I got it.
Yeah, if you want to keep this static, we need to use the elastic IP address, EIP, and then we assign the elastic IP address to this box. So it will remain constant, but don't do that. So we have the constant IP, we can use this one. Okay, so now we have this. So let me remove this guy. Clear. So now we are using this one. Perfect, right? So did we test this? No, probably. So let me commit this guy. Added the environment and then push it. So this will be executed now. So now this is fine. So now we are doing one server. So what if you have 10 servers? How do you deploy to 10 servers, right? So how do you deploy to 10 servers? So now let me create one more instance. So I'll add a new instance. What's a new instance? Yeah, launch instance, Linux, launch instance, launch Mac key. I give this name as CD2 so that I can easily differentiate between these two. The job is running. Now let me create a dummy job first, and then I'll show you how that can be used for multiple target deployments. Okay, so here I'm going to first install a plugin, manage Jenkins. I go to the there is manage plugin. I'm going to install the Blue Ocean plugin. Okay, so the Blue Ocean plugin, you can see actually a proper thing. Yeah, there's a Blue Ocean plugin. I'm going to install this. It is going to install these many plugins now. Okay. So what the Blue Ocean? So Blue Ocean is a different UI is given for the Jenkins. So where we can see some things in better UI phase. So now it's completed. I go here. So I go to the pipelines. I go to the Maven. This is what we are doing, right? Maven pipeline. So here you see open Blue Ocean. Okay. So now if I click on the open Blue Ocean, this will give me a different view of the Jenkins. So I got this different view now. Same thing, but different view. I go to 26 build. This will give me this. So checkout, build, test, deploy. The same way. So if I click on deploy, if I click on test, I can see those related logs. Maven test has happened this. But it's better UI, that's it, nothing else. Okay, these are all stages. Now we install the Blue Ocean plugin, which give me this view. If you want to go back to previous view, you see this symbol, just click here. It will take you back to the previous symbol, previous Jenkins. Okay, that is the one thing. Now I'm going to create one job to show you the parallel, how the parallel works. Parallel job. Now the pipeline. Simple. I'm just writing a simple syntax here so that you can see how the parallel works. So parallel means it is going to done two tasks one after one automatically. Not no, sorry, simultaneously, not one after one. So currently all stages runs one after one. If stage one completed, then only stage two will be run. But in our case, now we are doing parallel runs. Okay. So I use the same thing, pipeline, agents. Agent section is label. I need to run this on the agent one. Okay, so next thing is stages. I'm going to write the stage. So first stage, I'm going to give it name as a testing parallel. Okay, I have added my first stage as a parallel, right? So parallel added block. So it means all this stage, whatever you have inside, will run as a parallel. Let me check the syntax because I'm not sure whether parallel goes inside the stage or outside the stage. So I think it is outside of the stage. Okay, stage steps parallel. Okay, stages, stage parallel. Okay, this is how it goes. Got it. So stage parallel. So now I'm going to write my first stage. I would say dev one. Steps echo deploying to dev one. Now another stage dev two. Steps echo deploying to dev two. Now I have two stages. Let me add one more stage. Stage dev three. Steps echo deploying to dev 3. Okay, so this is what I have added. So let me copy this and show it here. Maybe you can see a good view. So what I have done, this is a pipeline agent section, the stages. So these are all stages. So in the stages, I am taking a first stage. So again, stage, I'm using the parallel. So again, in the parallel, I have stage one, stage two, stage three. So stages, stage, parallel, stage, stage, stage. Again, this stage I'm doing these tasks. And this stage I'm doing these tasks. So now what happens? So these three stages will run parallelly. These three will run parallelly. Okay. So now let me go ahead and run the job. So I've saved it. I saved this. Why it is not getting saved? Apply, save. Looks like some Jenkins error. I saved this one. Why it is not getting saved? Okay, I'll probably go back here. Give me a second. So now I don't know why it is not getting saved. So Maven job. Yeah, there is a Maven. I don't know, something happened to my Jenkins. Hello, can you guys hear me okay? I'm not sure if I have problem with my internet. Okay, you guys hear me, right? So what happened? Let me refresh this. Oh, it's because we have installed the Blue Ocean plugin, right? It has created too much of load on the Jenkins, it seems. That's why it's getting slow. I'll probably remove this plugin. We just have 1 GB of RAM, right? And we try to load the Blue Ocean plugin, which takes a lot of resources. Let me restart this once quickly. Okay, even I can't restart this. See, even machine is getting slow. Sudo systemctl stop Jenkins. Come on. That Blue Ocean plugin caused the Jenkins to go down. Let me do it from the UI. Yeah, looks like Jenkins completely gone down. Cannot even reboot the instance. I'll just pause the recording. Why to waste unnecessarily resume recording? Okay. So now we have this parallel job. So Jenkins is back up and running. We have to restart the service. So I go to the configure now. Configure has all the steps. Perfect. So whatever stages we have added. So now I am going to build it now. Oh, it's failed. Pipeline agents. What? Oh, you see what is the error? Can you guess the error name? Error. So it says agents, but I have agent there. Or agent, I would have mentioned agents. Should be agent, not the agents, not the plural. I saved it, I run it. So it is running now. So we can see the jobs running in a stage. See, dev 1, dev 2, dev 3 ran all together. It is not waited for one after one. If you want to see how it actually runs, so here we don't see, but if we open the blue ocean, then we can see it. See, they run in parallel. They are not horizontal, but now it's vertical. So vertical means this land together. So this is how they start. The start and the end. So in this stage, we have ran these three. So this is the way how we are going to do the deployments parallelly to multiple servers. Okay. So now I will go ahead and edit our Jenkins file where we are using. So this is a Jenkins file. So I'm going to make it close here so that you guys can see properly options. The stage checkout is there, build is there, test we know, deploy. From deploy, we need to work on a parallel, right? So now I'm making some modifications to this. Okay, so what modifications I'm going to do is, this is the deploy stage. Then I'm going to, maybe I'll delete this completely. No, so I will probably add the deploy stage as a comment for you guys to know later in case if you want. This is the comment. How do we add the comments? Like this, multi-line comments. Okay, so now I am going to delete this steps part here. Okay, so I would name it properly, deploy to dev. Okay, now here I'm going to use parallel. Okay, so first stage I'm going to deploy it to dev one environment, or I would say target one. Inside the stage I am going to use an environment. Okay, environment block, target user is equal to EC2 user, target server is equal to, I'll update this later. Okay, now steps, I need to write the steps here. What are the steps? Same. So whatever I have it here, I'm going to use the same. Clear. So what I'm doing here, my parallel stage I have started. Okay, so first stage I have added. First stage, in the first stage I have taken a environment block and then steps block. Yes, we can mention the environment inside the stage. So we have seen this in previous class, right? So now I'm going to add another stage. I just copy this as it is because it's going to same details and then paste it here. I just rename this to stage target 2. EC2 user target server details are changed, and this also going to be the same, no difference. So now what I'm doing here is in the parallel stage, stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 and target 2. See, so checkout done, build is done, test is done. Now I'm deploying part. So for the deployment, I'm entering a stage. Inside the stage, I'm using a word called parallel. So parallel means now these, whatever I mentioned inside the stages will run simultaneously. So again, I have two stages, stage 1 and stage 2. So stage 1, do deployment target 1. Stage 2, do the deployment target 2. So what again I have mentioned inside the stage, I have taken an environment block where I am going to mention my variables, and then step section where actual steps will be executed. So now I need to give the target server details. So these are all my target server details. First server, I go here instances. So this is my first server. I'm going to use a first server IP address as this. And then second target. In the second target, my server details are different. This is the CD2. CD2 is this. Copy and then paste it here. That's it. So now see difference. So in this target one, this environment block will be used and the target server has this. So when you execute this step, so this steps is actually inside this stage. So this block will be applicable. So here, so target user and target server will be replaced by these values. So when you enter stage 2, target 2, so here these values will be replaced by these guys. So now you have two different environments, two different servers, two different deployments running simultaneously. So if to deploy one change to one server, it takes 5 minutes. If you have 10 servers, how much time it takes? 5 minutes. If it is manually, 50 minutes, right? That is what the automation here. Okay. So now I have added the two stages. Now let me go ahead and run that. So remember, so we have created a private key and public key. We copied the public key only into this box, not in this box, right? We just created this server, but we haven't copied the public key. So we need to copy the public key now. If you want to see the error first, let's see the error and then we'll resolve it. Okay. So now I have this. I'm going to commit this. Added parallel deployment. And then I'm going to commit this. Push. Push is done. Now let's go ahead. Look at this. Not here. Maven. Sample Maven job. What happened? Still pushing. Ah, we restarted the server, right? Again the server. Oh no, it's same. So we got this. It is running. So let's see this in a blue ocean. I have the blue ocean open here, it seems. Yeah. I go to the Maven. No, it looks like I cannot go. So I'll go from here. Blue ocean plugin. So checkout is happening. Now build is happening. So let's wait for build to complete. Why build taking so much of time? Oh, cannot contact the server. It looks like some server issue. Is it down, our instance agent?
We can check the uptime, right?
No, it is up actually. No, there is a bug
Okay.
actually in the Jenkins. So it
Okay.
is not actually sometimes it fails the connectivity. We'll wait for some time. It will come back because it was able to
Still
check out and
loading.
ran it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually coming from the JDK version we are using. So this is what I do the errors. See, there is intermittent errors from the Jenkins itself. It's a known issue actually. They are working on. So it's closed actually. Will show build logs. It happens many slaves. Physical may contact. What is the error? I to see the issue. No other error messages. There is not enough information provided, so they cannot fix it. Saying goodbye. Yeah, it looks like it's out of memory. It can take a bit of digging to actually see the error, but yeah. Let's wait. It usually resumes. Yeah, it resumed. See, it resumes. So it's going ahead now. Oh, we need to see it from here, right? Sorry. Where is our blue ocean? Yeah, here. Target to failed. You see? So check out, build, test. This is guy fine. This guy is failed. So why it failed? Lost connection because you did not key. You did not provide the public key, right? So this is what we did. So we have the target 1 here and target 2 here. Okay, this is Jenkins master and this is Jenkins agent. So we created one key combination, private key and the public key. So we copied this public key into here and we gave private key to Jenkins. Okay, now we are trying to deploy to 2 machines, this machine and then this machine. Okay, so this guy has a lock and this guy has a key. So these 2 can be unlocked. But how about this? Did we copy into T2? No, right? So now we need to copy that lock here as well. We need to copy the lock here as well. So once you copy it, then it will also work. That is what the error is now failing. Okay, so now let me annotate, clear the logs. Now let me go ahead and copy the public key as well. So let me log out from target 1, log into the target 2 machine, EC2 instances, CD2 here. I copy the public key, SSH, EC2 user, this guy. So here I'm not giving -i because I'm using the default user key there, that's why. Vim.ssh authorized keys. So the key which we have used is random.pub. This is the public key combination we have using in the Jenkins. So I copied this one, right? Now I can go ahead and run the job. So if you see, click here, you see restart deploy to dev. So only this part will be run. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, starting from the scratch. No, it's doing from here only. It fails, expected. The reason behind is we don't have a target file because we have deleted. So I'm going to run it from here. So I see the rerun. It's the rerun. Yeah, I'm rerunning it. Checkout is done. Build is also done. Come on. Yeah, test is getting completed. Now deploying. Deploying 1, 2, done. See, same time, both deployments completed. So if you have 10 servers, so you can add 10 stages, give 10 different target of information, copy the public key to target, and then it will deploy into 10 machines at the same time. you want to see the details, so here we are copying it into our home directory, and this is the thing. If you want to check Java is there, Java is not there, I cannot check it. Okay, that's what the CD part is. So there is one more step I wanted to give you. So now we are adding to deploy to dev, right? So now we want to add to deploy target as well and UAT as well. Okay, so now I am going to add one more stage here. So this is the parallel stage is done. Now deploy dev stage is this. So inside the above stage, I'm adding one more stage now. Deploy to UAT. I don't have a server, I just have only one server, right? I'm going to mention directly environment. Okay, target user is equal to ec2-user target server going to, I don't know server yet. So my environment is done. Now I write my steps block. Steps block, same. I need to use ssh-agent. ssh-agent. So the steps are not ready yet. I would say awaiting. Not okay. This is how we write. So if we have multiple stages, so dev and the UAT. So we need to mention the steps because I don't have another server. So I'm just writing this. So you just assume that we have another server here. Just assume. Okay, deploy dev and deploy UAT. So now what happens? So if I run this, it will automatically deploy the code to dev and deploy the code to UAT. Okay, so I'm just committing this guy directly. Added UAT environment. And then let's push this. So push is done. My job will be running it now. So this is the, so 30 build is getting triggered. So checkout is there, is running. Build is done. Test is getting run. Now deploy to dev and done, and then UAT. See, this is how it works. So in the dev stage, we have added the parallel, right? Not for the UAT. So this, and this, and this. So now in a company, we don't perform the UAT deployments automatically. The reason behind this, you would be having your testing team performing some test cases, right? So you don't want to disturb the UAT environment. So in that case, we are going to add the approval process. What is the approval process? So approval process is going to stop the builds. Until and unless someone take action, it will not let you deploy the code into UAT. So let's assume now we are doing dev deployments and UAT deployments here. Assuming the UAT is not there, but assuming UAT is happening. Now we wanted to control the UAT deployments. To do that, we need to use an option called input. So I go to the Maven pipeline here, take pipeline syntax, declarative. There is a thing called input. You see input here, input. Message, okay. Do you want me to deploy to UAT? Okay, you go advanced. You have so many options here. Okay, so what is the OK button means? Allowed submitters. Allowed submitter means people who are part of this section will only approve it. Let's suppose you have a development team, testing team. So you want the UAT is owned by testing team. So you only testing people should approve this. Even though development people approve this, it will not go ahead. That is all the allowed submitter is here. At the moment, I'm not giving anything. I add this. I have got this section input. Okay, I'm going to put this in the Jenkins file here. So where we need to add this? Is it in the stage? Let me just check it once. Input step in declarative pipeline. This give the class information which we don't need here. I want the usage. Yeah, pipeline syntax. I look for input. I have input here. So input will be inside the stage. Got it. So now I want to control this inside the stage. I'm adding this. So now what happens? Dev will be run automatically. So when you want to deploy to UAT, so this guy input. So it will ask for the user input. What says the message? Do you want me to deploy to UAT? It will wait for forever until someone aborts it or approves it. This step will not be proceeded further. If you approve it, this will be done. If you don't approve it, it will wait forever. Now let's see in action. So let me commit this. Added input step and then push it. So this is a useful because UAT testing team is doing maybe in the production or the stage environment. So if you deploy directly, it will impact their testing phases, right? That's why we stop the build over there. So whenever testing team sees that now they tested the existing features, now they are ready to test the new features, then they can approve this build. It will automatically deploy the new package to UAT environment. Okay, if they don't want to do that, they can abort it anyway. So now I open this one, go back to 31 build. See, test is running, development is running. Now it is waited. You see, deploy to is pause. It says message, do you want me to deploy to UAT? If you say proceed, this will be run. If you say abort, this will be aborted. It will not stop. So this build is stuck forever. So now if I go to the normal pipeline job here, sample Maven, so we see job is running. See here. So you see that box symbol with this. So if I open this one, we can also see the same message here. Do you want me to deploy to UAT? Proceed or abort? If I click on abort, the job will be aborted. If I click proceed, it will go and deploy to the next further stages. This is what the use of input. This is how you can control interactively the stages. This is very useful. Okay, you may be having doubts. So now this is a holiday. So Saturday and Sunday, we don't have any users. And this build is triggered. So this will wait forever, right? Unnecessarily. So that's why we use the timeouts here. Remember in the options section, we have added timeout. Timeout means 10 minutes. So if the job runs more than 10 minutes, even though it's waiting for input, the job will be killed automatically and releases all the resources. That's why we use the timeouts. Okay. So now we have seen the parallel deployments, parallel stages, and the input as well. So this input you can put anywhere based on your usage. So now if you want to put the same input for the deploy as well, you can put the deploy here. So if you want to intimate your team members, so what you can do, you can put another stage here. You can say, hey, do you want me to deploy? It is waiting. And then you run this. The message will be sent to your team and then they see the message, they come here, they take an action accordingly. You can do the same thing. Clear? So you see this post, right? This post can also be configured inside the stage as well, which is applicable to only this stage. And now we have agent here, right? So this agent is global. So all the stages will use this agent. But if you want to run a specific stage, maybe deploy stage on a different agent, we need to mention the same thing as again agent section here. We will see it in further classes. Don't make it too complicated. First understand this. make yourself comfortable, try to execute this syntax, then we can make further progress on it. Okay, so any doubts on this, guys?
So, like when we are deploying it to production or dev,
Mhm.
we will be having any issues, then we can go back, right? I mean,
Yes.
we can go back, right?
In the Jenkins, we don't generally do the deployments using Jenkins. So we have
Okay.
other alternatives. Yeah.
Okay.
So either we use
Docker.
Ansible, either we
Oh,
use proper other mechanics. So I'm proceeding it. If I click on proceed, this will go ahead and perform this. Okay, now let me rerun again. Now I will abort it and see what happens. So build is doing now. Test is running.
So here in deploy to dev, we use stages, right? So 1, 2, like that. I mean
Mhm,
target.
mhm,
In a company, we'll have thousands of targets.
mhm.
We mention some number
No,
there, or
we don't. If you have more,
write
if you
code
have, yeah,
for everything. We should write the code.
right. So usually, let me first abort this. So if I click on abort, this will be aborted. You see, it will not deploy to the UAT. The build is aborted. Okay, if you want to see, we can also see the same thing here as well. So 32 build is aborted. Okay, so typically, so if you have thousands of servers, we generally don't do the deployments using this method. This is the legacy method, which we can still use. There is no issue. But typically, we would be having Ansible. We would run the Ansible that will automatically deploy our code. Or if you are using the microservices, you would be using the helm or the kubectl commands to deploy your changes. Or if it is Cloud Foundry CF, if you are using OpenShift, you use OC. These are all depend. So if it's typical VM, still we don't. If it's one server, two servers, you can very well go ahead with this. If we have more than 10 servers, we would recommend that we automate the task using Ansible. So we write all the instructions in Ansible, and then we call that Ansible playbook from Jenkins. So Jenkins will trigger that Ansible script, and that Ansible script will deploy the code into 10 servers. You will see that as well in Ansible class. Okay, this is like a typical scenario of CI/CD. So CD can be anything. So if you are using a Spinnaker, you can be using Terraform, so you can bring your infrastructure up, and then you run the Ansible scripts followed by, then it will deploy everything. There are various ways of doing. So CD is not straightforward. It depends upon the company strategy. So this is the one way of doing it. If you have a static VMs, you can do that. If it is many VMs, then we need to script out, and we can call that script from the Jenkins. You will see that in action in Ansible when we talk on the Ansible. Okay. So any more doubts?
So we integrate Ansible with Jenkins,
Mhm.
the builds, and then we deploy it.
It depends, right? So each and every company has their own strategies, right? So some
Okay.
companies will have one Jenkins job that will perform the CI and CD. So typically what happens, so we build the source code in dev environment, and we secure that jar file in Artifactory. Okay, so that jar file will be used to deploy into further environments. We don't build again and again. The reason behind this, the concept of this is build only one time. The Maven clean package or deploy will be run only one time. So once the package is ready, the same package will be deployed to Artifactory. So if you want to deploy the code into environments like UAT or stage or prod, in that case, we just use the jar that is stored in the Artifactory, download that and deploy the same. The reason is whatever you have tested in dev should be tested in UAT. The same package should be tested in stage. The same package will be promoted to production. This will make sure that you have consistency across all the environments, and whatever you have been testing it, the same package is promoted to production, not the with other additional changes. So we use that deployment, we control it multiple ways. There are many ways. So typically, mostly people follow Ansible. So they write all the tasks that we need to automate. They will run it against the servers inventory. Or if your environment is completely new, so it builds a new environment, then you can also use a Terraform or maybe a Spinnaker or maybe a CloudFormation templates or ARM templates. You run with that. Okay. Any more doubts, guys? No? Okay. Then what I would recommend that we have good amount of time this week. So try to focus. So first thing, you need to get yourself familiar with the SSH keys. So if you are clear, if you are okay how it works, then you are good. And also work on this Jenkins file. So this Jenkins file is already available in our it's official. So you can use it there. No worries. Okay. Cool then. So have a nice remaining Sunday. Then we'll see you next week. Bye guys.